Hello and welcome. I'm 14, 11, 19, 73, 11, 12. If you're wondering what that is, by the end of this financial year, 100 million of you will get a similar 12-digit number which will accompany your name. That's called the unique identification number. And by the next Lok Sabha election, assuming that happens in 2014 and not earlier, add another 300 million to that. The UID scheme is being touted as a big achievement of the central government, but many see it as a waste of public money. Many see it as a window for data theft. A petition has been filed in the Madras High Court challenging it. And the big question tonight, is the UID scheme a progressive measure or an invasion of privacy? Joining us live tonight is Chris Dev, an e-governance consultant and RTI activist, also a Manthan Award winner, and Mr. Radhakrishnan, a public-spirited advocate of the Madras High Court. But first, let's look at the headlines before that debate. Lankan President Rajapaksa's brother-in-law has slippers hurled at him in Rameshwaram by Tamil activists, where he went to perform a puja. The police play down the incident, but the ruckus is caught on camera. Ten murders in 10 days and a few murderers still at large. The police say they are going all out to catch the culprits. This girl stood up against her parents' alleged decision to marry her off to a much older man. But when she went to meet the city top cop, her lawyer was beaten up, allegedly at her parents' behest. Tinagar shop owners finally received some respite after an anxious wait. They can now harvest their profit ahead of Pongal. A sudden vehicular attack on Sabarimala devotees by two unidentified men leaves two severely injured. The police refused to take note of their complaint in Kerala. Let's welcome to our studio Mr. Radhakrishnan, public-spirited advocate, as I said, somebody who keeps filing a slew of public interest litigations. Welcome to the show, Mr. Radhakrishnan. Also, Chris Dev, pleasure to have you. You're the man, you're the expert on this, and I think in many ways you've been batting for this rather vigorously over the last several months, a couple of years in fact. An ardent fan and supporter of Nandan Nilekani, should we say. We tried to get Nandan Nilekani on the show, but must tell you that he's busy in a meeting right now. He couldn't join us on the show, but I'm sure Chris Dev will echo his sentiments. Chris, to you first. Mr. Nilekani says that the UID scheme will promote inclusive growth, that the UID scheme will plug leakages in public expenditure. But let me tell you, people are deprived of their benefits not because they are unable to prove identity. It's because of manipulation of the system. A BPL family doesn't get their share of ration, not because they don't have a ration card, but because some crook down the line is taking away what they are entitled to. A Dalit student doesn't get a scholarship, not because he cannot prove that he's a Dalit, but because the teachers or someone down the line again takes away what he's entitled to. A woman NREGA worker doesn't get her due, not because she can't prove that she's entitled to it, but because there are those in the system who believe that a woman does not deserve equal wages, even if she works much harder than the men there. This is the ground reality. Where's the question of identity here?
Sanjay, first to respond to your point that I'll be the mouthpiece for Nandan Nilekani, I would like to stand corrected that I am here in my own capacity to advocate the concept of UID, and the concept of UID implementation was started in India way back in 2006 when we did the first field work in Andhra Pradesh to protect the rights of farm laborers who are not getting their wages for the work they did, and to protect the rights of the people who are affected by flood relief, and the payment was mishandled by middlemen in collusion with corrupt officials. So, when you ask the question, where is the need for unique ID? It is the unique ID and a biometric smart card which can really protect the interest of every citizen.
The Supreme Court has time and time again observed, Chris, that there are people, millions of people in our country dying of starvation, and you have godowns with food grain rotting. What has this to do with identity?
Yeah, I think we always have misplaced priorities in us. Just because food grains is rotting, it does not mean that individuals do not have the right to have the food. On the contrary, it is precisely the reason why individuals should fight for the rights and make sure that the food grains which are meant for them are made available to them and not rotting in the godowns or at the ports after import. In fact, we did a RTA petition, and the government of Punjab, the warehousing department has said the amount of food grain lost in storage is more than 100 crores in value. And
I think you filed an RTI petition in Punjab.
Absolutely. And
let me bring in Mr. All right. Let me bring in Mr. Radhakrishnan. Mr. Radhakrishnan,
yes.
Is this the fear of the unknown that we are witnessing? What's the data that you're really scared that will be leaked, that will be an invasion of privacy?
No, first, when you mention the numbers, right? We will be having the numbers. All the people will have the numbers soon. You visit a prison. Prisoners are not known by names. They are known by numbers. So now, by this scheme, India has been made a big prison. All the people are becoming prisoners because they are known by numbers. So, by giving these numbers, all these people are made prisoners by the scheme. Privacy, you can say very clearly how your privacy is affected. I can ask your name. You will immediately say, what do you take in the morning, what do you take in the evening? You are not supposed to say.
But that's not what they ask.
Yes.
They ask you for your income. Do they ask you for your diet?
Yeah, no. They record your iris. They record your fingerprints.
For the record, I have oats in the morning.
Yeah, no, it is of me. It is not about me.
Okay.
It is of me.
All right, let me bring in Chris Dev here. Chris Dev, Mr. Radhakrishnan raised an important point. The iris, they record the iris and they record fingerprints. Now, I want to throw statistics at you. There are, in fact, 38 million people in the country who don't have proper fingerprints because their fingers are worn out because of the hard labor they do. There are 6 to 8 million people who have corneal blindness. Where is the question of recording their iris? How foolproof is your system?
No.
These are statistics from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences.
The system, a biometric system, can be made 100% foolproof.
How?
There are multimodal biometrics. It is all the 10 fingerprints. If you want, you can take 20 fingerprints, both of the hand and the legs. You can take the retina, you can take the iris, you can take the facial, you can take the palm vein, and you can take the DNA.
Okay.
There are multiple controls, and it is not that you have to be dependent on one. And on top of this, see, I always mention about the triple control, like what you know, what you have, and what you are. What you have is a smart card, like similar to an ATM card. What you know is the PIN number, and what you are is the biometric. So, a combination of these three with proper security cannot be broken.
Let me ask you, do you have an afternoon nap usually?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you get woken up your afternoon nap by telecallers?
Yes.
Okay. A country which claims to actually have a do not call registry, which tall claims are made by TRAI, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, time and time again. Still we get, despite the do not call registry, we get disturbed in the middle of our important meetings or on a nap, as in your case. Databases are sold. A country which cannot protect these databases is going to protect sensitive information of its citizens?
Sanjay, you are expressing what you asked Mr. Radhakrishnan, what is called the fear of the unknown. Let me put back to you.
This is the fear of the known.
No. I will explain to you. Now, you have your let's say your gold and silver jewelry put in a bank locker. Okay. Do you trust the bank for it?
I would suppose,
you do it because